Hello and welcome to the second community event for the channel. This is going to be the Total Drama Hot Takes video. So I want to say that from now on, every Tuesday there will be a community event. If there isn't one on that Tuesday, then I will make a different post saying that there won't be one. But I'm going to have one come out. I'm going to try to have one come out every Tuesday, but we'll see. So I said 3 days ago that I want your Total Drama Hot Takes. The DC Hot Take video did really well, and so we're running it back with Total Drama this time. You can take, I did not say that right, you can deal with the OG 6 seasons, Redonkulous Race, the reboot, or even Dramarama. There's an extra space there, I can't type. I will come back to this post on Tuesday, December 2nd, and record my thoughts, as well as some of my own hot takes. I plan on doing more of these in the future, such as a DC 5 prediction video, so subscribe to never miss an upload. While I do the intro, I'm just going to quickly fix all this. But we got a pretty good amount. Not as much as we did for the Disventure Camp one, but that's to be expected because Disventure Camp right now is a lot more popular than Total Drama. So let's get into it. So first up, we have Green Animation was here, and they said Ezekiel deserved to at least make merge in TDI or TD World Tour. So to that I say I actually agree. So I am the Ezekiel and Scary Girl #1 defender. They are the best characters in this show, and I will stand by that till the day I die. So obviously I'm going to heart your comment, but I do think it would have been very interesting for Ezekiel to go on an arc in World Tour. I've seen what ifs on what if he didn't drop the stick, and I think it'd be interesting for like Team Victory to get screwed over, and the last member on Team Victory is Ezekiel, and he makes merge, makes like Final 5 or something. So I actually do definitely agree with this, although I do like the Feral bit as well. It was pretty funny. Logan is the best OMG, so that's already a hot take right there in your name. I think you changed your profile picture if you're who I remember you are. But you said that Beth is one of my favorites because her arc is one of the best, going from pawn to winner. She will always be one of my faves. So arc, I don't think she had an arc. I mean, we can talk about in season 1. She was pretty good in season 1, I agree. Where she stood up to Heather, had the Tiki Idol, got eliminated. That was pretty good. In season 2, she literally did nothing. Like, she actually did nothing. She had a joke about her having a fake boyfriend, which actually turned out to be a real boyfriend. She had the exact same thing that happened to her with Heather happened to Justin. Just this time it was with a hot guy instead of a hot girl. And what else? I mean, literally in the merge, she didn't do like anything. She had a short-lived alliance with Courtney, but no, she definitely does not deserve her win in my opinion. And she definitely didn't go. She went from pawn to nothing burger to winner. That's what happened. So she's definitely not one of my faves. So that's definitely a hot take I disagree with. So then we go to, oh, you had a reply. Who said that? She'll always be one of my favorites too. Well, at least this person has Lauren in her his or her profile picture. There we go. That's the word. Then we get on to, oh, it's Hawks. I haven't watched MHA in a while. I'm pretty sure that's Hawks. Anyways, Katie is actually a decent character who really cares about her best friend. I think there's definitely a universe where we got to see more Katie and Sadie, or at least Katie. Sadie's design is just disgusting to look at. Okay, that's a half joke. But I think that it would have been interesting, even if it was Sadie, to just get more of these characters and learn more about them. But on their own, I don't think they do enough. She does care about her friend, that is nice, but it never goes past like just simple jokes. So I'm gonna say she's not bad, but I don't think she's a decent character. She's okay, I guess. So then we get to Zoe wasn't dumb in All Stars, she was just in denial. So look, we can all headcanon that. I want to agree with that too. But I actually just think she was dumb and it was bad writing. I think it's more realistic for her character for her to be in denial. But it's never shown, as far as I can remember, that she was in denial. You just got to take the poor writing of Zoe in that season. And we'll definitely talk about All-Stars a lot during this because I do have a lot of hot takes with All-Stars. But what I do agree on with the majority is that Zoe was pretty dumb. So then we move on to this person who says, I have 2 hot takes. So number 1 is Scarlet should have played a bigger role in Pocatello Island besides being a villain. It would have made her it would have been miles better if she was more strategic mastermind and not a D1 crash out. She had way more potential to make Final 3 and lose with a more satisfying loss than Sugar did. And to that, I definitely agree. Although I don't know if I'd even consider that a hot take. Scarlet could have been written in a way where she'd be a very, very good villain who would definitely probably be my favorite character in Season 6. The problem is that she wasn't written poorly, but she wasn't written good enough. So I'm going to say I definitely agree, although I don't think it's a hot take. Then we get to Ella should have made a deep run in Pahkitew, and I stand by that. Also, I think she should have had more songs, and her gimmick was used to her advantage in more of the games than just animals. It would have been cool if singing gave her luck or something, but that might be a bit out there. See, I think of Ella as like kind of the same way I think of Dawn, where I think both of them have clearly somewhat supernatural abilities. Dawn more obviously than Ella, but I think it would have been really interesting if those were explored more. I definitely agree as well. I can see a universe where Ella makes top 3, top 2, maybe even number 1, and is a great character. But that just didn't happen. She didn't go ever past like surface level jokes. So I'm definitely going to agree with both of those. So I actually like Pahkitew better than World Tour. Whoa. Oh, okay. So World Tour is the best season of Total Drama by far. I say by far. Total Drama Island is the only one that can contend it. Pahkitew is a good season. Pahkitew is a good season, but it is nowhere near World Tour. I mean, not only does World Tour have the GOAT cast, like the actual All-Star cast, but I think maybe I'm trying to think what you can even dislike outside of Gwankani. I'm assuming, or Gwunkin, not Gwunky. No, that'd be all 3 of them. What the heck? Gwunkin. I don't know. I like, maybe you hate Ezekiel. I doubt you hate Heather Alejandro in that season. I feel like that'd be crazy. But or maybe you're just that big of a Pahkitew fan and you have more nostalgia for it. I don't know. I don't really know how someone could get to that inclusion. I don't agree. Mal being a villain in All Stars wasn't a bad idea. You are definitely correct about that. It was just how the writers didn't make him a strategic villain, and his arc would have been escalated better instead of just pressing a button. He could have been a better villain. Again, I don't think that's really a hot take. I think that there's a lot of characters in Season 5 and Season 6 who could have been great had the writers just taken more time to flesh them out instead of using Season 5 and Season 6 to split that order of episodes and so they could make more money. So I agree with that. I think Zoe could have been better. I think Scarlett could have been better. I think Ella could have been better. And I think Mal could have been really good. In fact, one of my first videos on this channel is a rewrite of All Stars. And I did Mal in there. And I think that went extremely well. Y'all should definitely go watch that. It's one of my most viewed videos on the channel. But I think that Mal definitely has the potential. I did a second chance season as well, where I think Ella got a lot of potential too. So I think these characters definitely would have, if they had more time, would have been better. Also, the reset button was stupid. I think everyone agrees. Oh, escape key. All right, escape key. We meet again. So Duncan soured a good mood of action in World Tour. He was my favorite character ever in Season 1, but the way they treated him as a golden child made me not able to stand him afterwards. In action, they just set up his friendship with Gwen and rivalry with Trent, which led to Trent making dumb decisions, but that destroyed his goodwills with his team, and Gwen, which leads them to break up. My problem is that they treat Duncan like the hero, like he's innocent at all. They're basically like our guy outing the creep and being so good at the game. They actually made Trent say that Duncan was good at the game in the first Aftermath episode, talk about glazing. Later on in the season, though, he keeps getting so much favoritism by the creators, always slipping by when it seems like he's about to get screwed over, which just never sat right with me. Not to mention the fact that he always gets away with everything he does compared to Gwen and Courtney. That's okay, I definitely agree with that. He honestly just gets all the love from the creators, the screen time, the main plot focus, which rubs me the wrong way. I would mention the stuff from World Tour, but this comment is getting too long, so I'm actually going to heart that. I still like Duncan. I actually think Duncan in World Tour isn't offensively bad. I just do think he made it too far. I think I'm okay with him coming back, but I think he should have been eliminated when Gwen was. So that, because I like that love triangle plotline. But I think that would have been better. And then Gwen gets out pretty quickly after, because obviously we don't want Gwen to become a screen hog. But I will say in Season 2, I definitely am going to agree with that. The way he won that season was purely off favoritism. The way Beth won, I don't even know. But I think, I love Action, I really do. But I think Action has one of the worst finales, because from a writing standpoint, you have a character that did nothing in Beth, and you have Duncan, who should have been considered one of the main 3 villains of the season, along with Courtney and Justin, and he wasn't, because not only does he break up Gwen and Trent, but also, he bullied Harold, like, the entire time. It should have been, I guarantee you, this would have been one of the best finales ever. It should have been Harold and Lindsay, instead of Lindsay voting herself out, which completely resets her arc, and Harold just getting cooked. It should have been Harold and Lindsay, but Yeah, no, I'm gonna go ahead and agree with this. I still like Duncan though, and then we don't need to talk about All Stars. That was a very bad time for his character. But speaking of All Stars is good. Okay, unironically, All Stars has a lot of issues, but I do think that it is still an entertaining season of TV. There are only a few things that are offensively bad, which are Duncan and Lindsay. Duncan and Lindsay are terrible. I'd say Mal and Zoe aren't great, but they're still serviceable. They're not going to make me want to actively explode my TV like Duncan and Lindsay. I hated that. It just felt like the writers did not understand those two, especially. What the only other huge problem I had with it is I wanted Courtney to win this season. So seeing Courtney and Gwen's friendship come together was great, and I thought it was great character development for them both to be like, screw Duncan, and we're gonna be friends on our own terms. And then Courtney just gets eliminated from some list, which Mal doesn't even do anything creative to get her out. Yeah, no, I'm gonna say I think that All Stars could have been one of the greats had it had 24 episodes, a few more cast members, and better winners. But I think it is still a good season to watch. I do enjoy watching it because there is some good there, right? There's Heather's great, Alejandro's good. I'm trying to think of some others. There's still some good in here. So then we move on to Dusking 0.21. Pocateo Island is a great season if you don't count Leonard and Sugar. I'm sorry, Leon Surd and Sugar. So yeah, I would agree those are the worst people in that season. Along with I don't really get the Dave hate. He's not a good character, but he's not that bad. So yeah, I'll agree. This is kind of like these are both back to back, right? I don't know if I go great, but I think both of these are good seasons that could have been great seasons. So then we get to Kai's take, and Kai said, hot take, Zoe's the best total drama character. Not gonna lie, you're either A, nostalgia blinded, or B, lost in the sauce. Now, I have spent a bit of this video dogging on Zoe, but I do still love Zoe. I think Zoe's top 15, top 20 characters. I don't think she's best, but I think she's definitely, like, maybe top 10. Probably not. Actually, no, definitely not. But she's, like, top 15, top 20. But I do really like Zoe in Revenge of the Island. I think she's great. And in All-Stars, she's really dumb, but she's not that, like, she's not offensively bad. She's not Duncan and Lindsay. So, we move on to Cody should have been in Total Drama Action and won it. I disagree. I feel like with what happened between Gwen, Trent, and Duncan, having Cody there would have just made it even more complicated. And I really liked his run in World Tour, which probably wouldn't have happened if he was in action. Yeah, so I'm going to disagree with Roman. Okay, so we have, hi, I'm cool in LYC. So, oh lord. So he said, oh, bet. I know people hate Nichelle's elimination in Total Drama Reboot Season 2, but I actually don't mind it. This is our first reboot one. It gives some emphasis to her personality and shows that Julia still got it. Though I will admit, the setup is non-existent. Yes, it is non-existent, and I will say I actually do agree with this on one condition. We get a Season 3, and Nichelle and Lauren make it far. I'm sorry, Scary Girl. I'm so used to calling her Lauren because that's what she's called in Total Drama Multiverse, because that's her real name. Scary Girl and Nichelle, as long as they make it far, we're talking about Nichelle right now, though, then I will be fine with this. But yeah, if that doesn't happen, if we just get a different season, or if we never get another Total Drama season again, then I'm going to have to disagree. But yeah, I don't know if this is a hot take, but I'll say it anyway. Total Drama Action has awful villains. Not as bad as Mal, keep that in mind. Justin was supposed to be the villain before Courtney, but he barely qualifies. Does he though? I mean, he used his good looks to get his teammates to do stuff with him, which is manipulative. Sure, he doesn't really do much evil. The closest we get to that is when he spied on Gwen and confronted her after, along with the rest of Grips. But then Courtney returned and OMG, where do I even begin? She's really annoying and whines and basically does anything that doesn't benefit, or basically, oh my gosh, about basically anything that doesn't benefit in her in any way. She has some level of plot armor, but not as much as Heather, winning half the immunity challenges. I actually think that's just because she's a challenge beast. And that's not how you start a sentence. You never start a sentence with "and." I'm just kidding. I don't care. And any she lost had some weird plot twist that kept her longer. The whole season was pretty mediocre at best. I still love Action. I think it's the fourth best season. Maybe fourth, maybe third best season. Yeah, probably fourth. I think Justin was good. I like Justin. He wasn't the most villainous. He definitely should have returned for All Stars, by the way. But I think I liked Justin. He lived out his time and didn't stay too much longer. Then when Courtney hijacked the season, I actually liked that too. She was annoying, a brat, but I didn't actually hate that. I did like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and disagree with you here. However, on your first one, I do agree as long as we get a TDI or TDR season 3. So then we move on to this person. I'm not even gonna try to say all that. Who says Brick would be a better winner than Lightning in Revenge of the Island? I don't think that's a hot take. I genuinely don't think that's a hot take, dude. I think Lightning's not even set up to be a winner. He only gets a winning ending because there's alternate winners. Brick, Brick definitely should have been or would have been a better winner, but I think Cameron winning is still good. Owen and Duncan are the worst total drama winners. I agree that Duncan's one of the worst. Owen is definitely, from a strategic standpoint, I do agree Gwen would have been a better winner, but as an introduction to the show, if you just watched the first season, I think Owen winning is satisfying, right? He's also like freaking Fresh TV's baby. So I kind of agree. Okay, so we have Academy Dark Descent. So you said quite a few things. You said Owen should have been booted early in Island because he had nothing to offer apart from fart jokes. I don't know about early, but I wouldn't have minded to see him go like halfway through the merge by a villainous play from Heather. Scott got ruined in All-Stars, but because everyone else is worse in the season, it automatically makes him better. I don't think so. I think it was a natural evolution for his character. We all knew that he was on a team with like Heather and Alejandro, so we knew he wasn't going to be the main villain. So I think him becoming a comedic relief was pretty good, and he was pretty funny while still being himself. So I don't agree that he got ruined. Heather, Eva, and Joe are the best villains. Okay, so what? Okay, Heather's iconic. Yes, everyone agrees, and Joe and Eva are funny. Yeah, I think Joe's funny. Eva is a little funny. Do we even consider Eva a villain? She's mean, but she does like nothing ever. You want to tell me Eva's better than Alejandro? That's, I mean, hey, everyone's allowed to have their own takes, but that's I don't think I can agree with that. And as for Joe, I always forget about Joe, but I do really like Joe. Bringing back Gen 1 contestants for another season would probably not work because most people completed arcs and struggle with no one as seen, who struggle with new ones, I'm assuming you mean, as seen with All-Stars. I partially agree. I think some of them should come back. I think Harold should come back. I think Lashana should come back. But I don't think characters that are insanely well established like Duncan should come back, or Owen should come back. I also think that I would love to see more Revenge of the Island pre-mergers, such as Annie Maria, Brick, and Dawn come back, and maybe even some of the Pocateo Island contestants. I would love to see a Battle of the Generations season where we got to see maybe like, I don't know, four Gen 1 contestants, 4 Gen 2 contestants, 4 Gen 3 contestants, 4 Gen 4 contestants. I would love to see that. Probably not any redonkulous race, but maybe throw a few of them in there anyway. And then you said Beth is an overhated winner. Nope, she is the worst winner, I think. Yeah, she's the worst winner in my opinion. And then after that, you said also with enough writing and changes, Beth would have been a good winner, and I will die on that hill. Yeah, so with enough writing changes, anyone would be good, which means you would have to make Beth actually do something in the entirety of the season, or in the entirety of the merge. She didn't do anything. She was just there. She didn't do anything. So I mean, I agree. You can say this about anyone. You can say this about freaking Stacy. Actually, Stacy was pretty funny. So I'm gonna disagree on these. On this one, I'm going to disagree with Eva, and I'm going to disagree with Scott getting ruined, but I think there's some good takes here. So then we have Jandong Chong, whatever you want to say. You said, okay, first off, all I want to say before making these hot takes, Total Drama is a fictional show. Of course, there will be problems and heated conversations, but these are opinions that won't change. They won't change unless they think it should. I think they're saying Total Drama is made for fun, and criticizing it for its bads and never talking about its goods is undeserved. So I want I don't know what that means. It's a great show. Now on to the hot takes. Okay, so let me talk about this real quick. I definitely agree. We are being a little negative in this video. Some things are positive, but I do want to agree that this is still one of my favorite shows of all time. My whole channel is based off of it and a show that came from it, Disventure Camp. So I definitely agree. And then you get into people that are just really immature and stupid, like the person who called me a Satanist for not liking Logan during Disventure Camp. So, yeah. So Julia and MK are overrated. Never mind, screw you. No, I'm just kidding. Their friendship was very forced after they argued in season 1, and most of their strategy is off-screen and a lot of plot armor. There's 6 out of 10 characters maximum. So I'm actually going to agree with 2 things partially here, but I do still love them both. And I think they'd be great in a season 3. So they could both get eliminated early and then host a Get Over Yourself podcast. So what I think is, I think that the off-screen strategy of Julia was pretty bad. I do agree with that. And I also think that their friendship did feel a little forced. It didn't feel as natural, and it could have felt a lot better had it been fleshed out more and given more time to breathe. But that might be another problem of it being a 13-episode season. So I'm going to agree partially, but I still love them both. Dave and Sky's plotline was fine. It wasn't executed well, but it was very funny, and sometimes stuff doesn't work out, and you gotta get past it. It's exactly how it goes sometimes in real life, and it's a good lesson, even though it's not written perfectly. I actually agree with this. I don't care about Dave and Sky that much. I don't think I've had a single thought about Sky in like 4 months, but I definitely agree that I think both of them are very overhated, and it is pretty realistic. Duncan was ruined after season 1. He was top 4 characters in season 1 after his bullying in season 2, and him getting out Harold and winning left a bitter taste in my mouth. We've talked a lot about Duncan today. I still like Duncan, but I do agree. As for Pi aren't that bad, what are you saying? I don't know what you're saying. As and Pi aren't that bad. Some characters like Sugar, Duncan, Courtney are bad written. Oh, All Stars and Pockettail Island. Oh. Some characters like Sugar, Duncan, and Courtney are badly written, but people like Scott and Lightning Death got an upgrade from ROTI. And Jasmine and Sean, Max, and Scarlet were so funny to watch for some reason. Dave was very funny, and Topher also. I don't really remember that much about Topher, but I kind of agree. People only think of the bad but never the goods. That's all. And remember to watch it for fun. Yes. So I'm going to agree with this bottom one, although I think Courtney was not badly written until our elimination episode. Before that, things were going good. But also I like how Sugar does not deserve being capitalized. Which I agree. But I definitely think that this is definitely true. So Pockettail Island is good. It's a good season if you don't take it seriously. Yeah, it's not meant to be taken seriously at all. I definitely agree that it is. And then also Topher's a good character. He's fine. I mean, like, he's okay. I was surprised he made Merge over people like Ella and Amy and Sammy. That's the biggest problem with Pockettail, is that they sold on having a good Amy and Sammy plotline, I think, is the biggest missed opportunity. So what I'm about to say is insane, but Total Drama doesn't have one bad winner. I know the reboot has a couple of controversial winners. We'll talk about that in a second, actually. Mike and Zoe was not a good final 2, especially for All-Stars. And Beth as a finalist, when it should have been Lindsay or Harold, is awful both in concept and execution. However, watching the seasons entirely, in my opinion, I can accept these winners even if I don't like them. Well, I mean, I can accept them even if I don't like them, but I can also accept them even if they're bad. But I will say, for the reboot, I actually think Priya's win, while being incredibly predictable, was still good. And on top of that, I liked Wayne's win, even though I was personally rooting for Julia. So I actually do enjoy both of those wins. But yeah, but Lauren's going to win season 3, I promise. But as for, yeah, I think, sure. So Beth is, not Kez. let me get through this one, and then I'll reset the recording before I go through that, because I already know this is about to be insane. Beth is underrated as F winner and deserved to be in the finals, even though Lindsay still got robbed. Yeah, so no. Just no. I'm not going to go into it all over again because we've already talked about this. I'm surprised how much action's gotten dogged on in this video. But yeah, no, I definitely still disagree. Alright, before I reset this, what is this about to be? Oh, Lord. Here we go again, y'all. Here we go again. Alright, lock in, y'all. It's time for a speed round. Okay, number 1. Alejandro's an overrated winner. I don't think Alejandro shouldn't have won because I dislike him, but because his ending isn't even him who does the needed requirement to win. Heather does it for him, and at the same time, tears down her development of the season. I don't think I think Alejandro is in the same boat as Lightning, where they made it to the finale because they deserved to, but especially in Alejandro's case. But the finales feel so obviously, like, their wins feel so weird because it is so obvious which ones are the canon ones there, that it's Heather and it's Cameron. So I definitely agree that he shouldn't have won, even though he is one of the best Total Drama characters of all time. But I also am going to say on top of that I don't think he's overrated, because I think 99% of people are like, no, Heather should have won anyway. I don't think people talk too highly of his win. I like Beth as a winner. Oh my gosh. How many people like Beth as a winner? I'm starting to think this isn't as hot a take as I first thought. I personally believe Beth isn't a bad winner. I think she doesn't deserve the hate. I believe that the only reason she gets hated on is that there are fan favorite winner options, Harold, Lindsay, and Duncan. Well, Harold and Lindsay. Two of these are the dream finale, Lindsay and Harold. Yep, I said that a minute ago. I even believe that the show knows this because after this, they both never get another chance to shine. Whereas Beth, we never see her again. I'm assuming you meant they do get another chance to shine, which not really, because they both get pretty early boots in all the next times they can beat. So I think that people are too harsh for someone only in 2 seasons. Yeah, no, I still disagree. I think Bridget is a nothing burger if it weren't for 2 things: her relationship with Jeff, but not even that can really be called a good thing because both of them got the title of being the first boot, and I like Jeff more without her. I actually do agree with that because I like seeing Jeff with like Gwen and all that. Not with, but you know what I mean. The only thing I like about Bridget is her down-to-earth personality in the Aftermath shows. Yeah, no, Bridget feels like a realistic person that you could actually meet in real life, but I do think she is a bit overshadowed by some of the other more popular contestants. Blanley's not a bad character. I believe Blanley isn't a bad character because she represents what Jeff would have became. Oh, you know, I actually have never thought about that. I also like how much the show dunks on her when she joins on World Tour. So I've always thought she isn't a bad character. She's just a bit of a nothing burger. But I do really like that now that I think about it, how she represents what Jeff would have become. Because that's really cool. I've literally never thought about that. Cody shouldn't have been in All-Stars. I often hear the argument that Cody should have been in All-Stars so Sierra had something to do, but I just can't agree with that because I really think he ran his course on World Tour. I genuinely can't think of something he could have done. So for that, I say that if Cody was in All-Stars, Sierra shouldn't have been. I would have rathered Cody than Sierra. But okay, I think I'm fine with him not being in All-Stars. I don't think I added him to my All-Stars cast, which had like 20 people. Courtney, I don't like how Courtney plays the victim in this whole love triangle drama because, let's be real for a moment, Gwen is the real victim. Absolutely. Absolutely. The fact Courtney's on the heroes and Gwen is on the villains is insane to me. I had it in my way where both of them were on the heroes and Duncan was on the villains because I think that adds better drama. But the fact that Gwen is on the villains is crazy to me. And I just find it really annoying from a few exceptions, like when the plane landed on Owen and Izzy, but for me, that isn't enough. I like Courtney a lot. I really do. But I do agree that she's definitely not the victim. DJ's a dum-dum in Lashana's World Tour elimination. Why would he vote Lashana for slapping Heather of all people and he wants to go home? Like, dude, go tell Lashana to vote him and then vote yourself. And then even if it's a non-elim, you can just do it again next time. I've always thought that was one of the dumbest eliminations, at least in World Tour, because everyone got out Lashana for slapping Heather. Did everyone forget who they are? Did everyone forget who forget who Heather is? Dude, if I was in half the contestant scenarios, I would slap the crap out of Heather. Are we serious? Yeah, no, that I definitely agree. Duncan, Duncan. Most overrated character ever. How is this guy a liked winner? He's straight up a villain, actually. That's too nice. He's a bully that gets rewarded multiple times. He wins $1 million, gets himself 2 girlfriends, and at the same time, which is just messed up. I also want to speak more about Duncan's love triangle perspective. How does this guy... excuse me. How does this guy have himself in a love triangle? Like 70% of his body is his torso, and still this guy's got this unimaginable riz. He does get 2 of the baddest baddies in the show. And then in All-Star, another person who did this, and then in All-Stars, he knows about Mal from Juvie, and he's running the place like, what? This is just dumb, and bro does nothing with this info. I agree. Bro, y'all are making me like Duncan less now. Because, like, all these points are absolutely 100% deserved. This is hilarious right here. Yeah, no. He is a bully that gets rewarded multiple times. I think he's the biggest example of favoritism in total drama. Still not as big of favoritism as, like, Logan, but I do agree. Oh, no. Uh-oh. Here we go. Ezekiel. Oh, you won't like this. I only have sympathy for him because of what happened to him in the finale and World Tour with the volcano. Other than that, why would I sympathize with this guy? Here's why you would sympathize with this guy. Because, look, what he said in Island, at least the second half of what he said was stupid. Only really the second half, but we're not going to get into all of that, right? But what he said in Island, even if we take out all of what he actually said, from a gameplay standpoint, it was dumb. From a social standpoint, and in general, ignoring the game show, it was dumb. It was not something he should have said. But he should not have been eliminated there because he said something stupid. I think that was just because they wanted to keep Courtney in, which is fair. So I'm actually fine with that. but I think that I can still sympathize with him. And then especially after the Island special, which is where I fell in love with this character, where he genuinely tries to become a better person with Lindsay and Beth, who, while Lindsay and Beth, I do understand them in that, they are trying to ignore him because all they've seen of him is that part of him. But instead of getting to know him, they just kind of shut him down. Even if they didn't shut him down, Ezekiel, Lindsay, and Beth could have split the $1 million right there. And then in World Tour, yeah, I mean, everyone sympathizes with him because he got turned into a freaking golem. But even if that didn't happen, he was treated like crap by the entirety of the contestants when he was genuinely trying to better himself. I do think you should. Well, I do think that we should sympathize with Ezekiel, if you know what I mean. Because I think that he said something dumb, he screwed up, and he tried to better himself from it. So I think it was blown way out of proportion. Eva, although that is probably realistic. I don't know if it's realistic for 2007, but it's realistic for 2025, that's for sure. So then we have Eva, probably most entertaining character in the Peanut Gallery. I agree. Just because the others are, as Ali would say, NPCs. Okay, one, that's funny, but two, I definitely agree. I was about to say that because none of the others do literally anything. Like, name me one quip Noah had in the Peanut Gallery. Go. Name me one thing Ezekiel said in Action's Peanut Gallery. Eva actually did a few things. I think Eva did more in there than she did in the game show in season 1. So I do agree right there. Gwen, her, and Cameron are better than her and Duncan. I think this is less so because you like them together and more so because you hate Duncan and Gwen together. Which I'm going to say, I think that if it weren't for All-Stars, which, again, that's mainly because Duncan is horrible in All-Stars, I would actually say that I really like Duncan, because I do in World Tour, and even at the beginning of All-Stars. But now, I think they're all right, but I don't think, I've never seen any chemistry between Gwen and Cameron, although I think that would be a pretty funny ship, and also would probably piss Cody off. So Jeff is the best in Redonkulous Race with his partner Brody, because last time I checked, they didn't make out the entire time. Yeah, I agree. I'm kind of glad they didn't bring back Bridget there. And I was actually happy with them winning, even though they came back and won. I did like that, even though it should have been Emma and Kitty. So I do agree that he was really good. But I think his best showing, in my opinion, was season 1. Harold is not appreciated enough by the cast members except Lashana. For some reason, nobody in Island respects him, even though he clutches the challenges early on. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think it's just because he's easy to pick on. I think that he's one of those characters that kind of represents the good guys always finish last trope, where I think that it is realistic, and I do like it. But again, I don't even think that's really a hot take. I think everyone agrees with that. I can get behind Heather's plot armor and Island because what would have happened if she was an early boot? Absolutely nothing. Again, I don't know why you capitalize can, but again, I 100% agree with this. I don't think this is a hot take because I think everyone knows this. Obviously, there could have been ways where you could have had Heather become a villain without as much plot armor, but yeah, literally nothing would have happened. It would have been such a boring season, and you really needed someone like this in your season 1. So I definitely agree. The Izzy Isn't Crazy theory is the best theory in all of Total Drama. Yeah, no, if y'all haven't seen that guy's videos, I forgot his name. He has 3 Total Drama videos. I think he made a 4th one, but I don't really know what it's about. That guy is one of the best Total Drama YouTubers. I mean, he's not just a Total Drama YouTuber, but you know what I mean. It was like 2 hours long. The series makes more sense if you think at it from the perspective of Izzy Isn't Crazy. So I actually love that video a lot. I definitely agree, but I think the only problem is World Tour Izzy just doesn't fit it. I feel like if Izzy were to like come back and somehow lock in and win a season, I wouldn't want her to win World Tour, but maybe she gets invited into All Stars, and she goes and wins that. That's not what I did for my what if of All Stars, but I could definitely see a world where she comes back in some season, or maybe she comes back in a season with an all new cast except her. I think she dominates. I would love to see Izzy come back. This would be one of the perfect characters to come back. And if they ever wanted to bring back old contestants, because I think we could explore this a lot in the show, because I do think that the series makes more sense if you think of it from the perspective of Izzy Isn't Crazy. So Justin, I just don't like him. He's a nerf version of Alejandro. Well, I mean, yeah, I like Justin, but he is just nerfed Alejandro. Katie exists, I guess. I don't think it's a hot take to say that Katie exists. I think most people agree that Katie exists. Lashana is another example of a character getting derailed. This time, it's just after season 1. And why do the writers have it out for her? Okay, I will say I don't think she got derailed, but I also will say the writers do have it out for Lashana. Like, Lashana gets cooked, bro. And she gets, not only does she have the most unfair elimination in Total Drama or Descendant Camp history, but she gets so cooked. in World Tour for, well, I already talked about how stupid that elimination was. And then in Action, the freaking PDA that had her roasting the other people. Like, half the island hasn't already done that with, like, the other half of the island. Are we serious? You're going to get mad at Lashana for talking bad about everyone? But Duncan is right there bullying Harold to an almost comical degree. Like, are we serious? I like Owen X Lindsay. What? Just do. Don't make any, don't want to make you lose your voice after all. What? 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 I don't agree. I mean, no. I'm just, huh? I like Noah's placement in Island because it saves him for our World Tour. Wait, nope, never mind. He got saved in Redonkulous Race, and then he actually gets used for Love Story. And it's definitely my top 3 favorite ships. Nima is a goated ship, although I do love the conspiracy theory that the only reason Emma exists in Redonkulous Race is to make everyone stop thinking that Noah's gay after Island. I really like that conspiracy theory. It's really funny. But because like he even lost some of the zestiness in his voice. But I do agree that is one of the best ships in the show. I don't know if I'd say top 3, but yeah. Also, I think that it would have been nice to see a little more of him in World Tour, but after what happened in Redonkulous Race, I agree. Which is another reason why I think I'm fine with Noah and Owen's placement, but I think Emma and Kitty should have won the season. Owen is such a writer's pet in Action. No need for him to return apart to fill up the episode count. Yes, absolutely. Owen coming back was such a waste of potential. They could have easily brought back someone way more interesting. Like Ezekiel. Yeah, I definitely agree there. Sadie exists, just like Katie, yep. I understand why Sierra is in All-Stars. Doesn't mean I like it, though. I think it would have been cool to get Mike, Zoe, and Cameron to vote her out first, because Zoe has watched the show, and she's a threat due to knowing half the people. What is it with y'all just capitalizing random words? That's fine. I don't actually care. Threat due to knowing half the people, and also a physical threat. And you can even speed up the Sierra looking Cameron plot. Yeah, because was it even a plot or just a running joke that wasn't that funny? Because it was only even funny in freaking World Tour for a little bit. Yeah, her being the first boot would have been nice, but yeah, definitely better than Lindsay. But I'm gonna say that I can understand it. Trent for me is too hard to watch in Island because I know what happens in Action. Yeah, I'm definitely, I definitely agree. It's so sad. It is really so sad. That's some of the worst character writing I've ever seen. All respect to the writers, right? Tyler is overrated, not on the same level as Duncan, but I only like him for his humor. Well, yeah, because that's all he is. I do agree that he's a little overrated. Now, this certainly isn't a hot take. Go sub to Megaboy37TD. Yeah, guys, this is a take I definitely agree with, and definitely not a hot take at all. In fact, this might be the best take I've ever seen. Yeah, definitely, everyone go do this take right now so that we can hit 500 subs before the end of the week. I think I only need 21 more. Okay. So that was not Kez. Thank you once again. I don't know where you're getting the time to do all this. This was just with Gen 3 or Gen 1. I mean, I think you said something about your Gen 4 or no, I can't talk. Your Season 4 takes getting deleted, which does suck. But yeah, okay. Let's see what you said. Tyler is overrated, and I personally do not find him funny at all, same as I went in Season 1 and 2, I guess. I think he is pretty funny, but yeah, just like what I said up here, he is pretty overrated. On that note, I'm glad they tuned down the fart and barf jokes, but I doubt that's a hot take. So, I think a well-timed fart joke is pretty funny. Still, I do. And that's not just for Total Drama, that's for anything in general. However, my problem isn't necessarily the overabundance of fart jokes. My problem is... Guys, can we have a quick discussion about the weird amount of fetish content in this show? Like, you would expect this Venture Camp to have more of that, but it really doesn't. Total Drama has a lot of fart fetish stuff, and like throw up fetish, and then like, remember in the reboot, I thought this was one of the grossest, it made me kind of uncomfortable. They're in the reboot, where Chef just eagerly comes up, he hasn't done anything in like 3 seasons, but eagerly comes up, and he makes them drink all that barf, so they puke, and then it's white, and it just gets everywhere, and it's all over them. It's just there's some weird fetish content in this show. I think like, and there a lot of those episodes. I'm not trying to point any fingers, but like I think this is one of the best examples. The same person who wrote Jurassic Fart, which is one of the worst episodes this show's ever seen. Not only because he gets out Damien, but because it was very obviously fetish content, like when Z held Chase's butt shut. Although that by itself would have been pretty funny, but coupled with everything else, it was just weird. But that was the same writer who wrote the finale for Season 1. So I think it is a little bit weird. So then we have the love triangle was not bad at all. It was heavily foreshadowed and added a lot of necessary drama to the late pre-merge/merge of World Tour. Then All Stars fucked it up insanely badly, like everything else other than Allie Heather for some reason. Yep, Allie Heather is the best ship this show has ever seen, and it's only the only one that contests it kind of is like Trenji. But Trenji needs more screen time before I can say it's anywhere near Allie Heather. And if we're just taking World Tour, I actually heavily agree. I do. I like Priya in the Reboot 2 more. Yeah, sorry, no. Priya's the biggest screen hog ever. I do think she's good. I just think that Caleb and Priya get dragged on and on and on way too much. I don't care for 90% of those songs in World Tour. That's more than I care. You care for more than I do. I really don't care at all. I'm not finding myself listening to any of them, except I really love Come Fly With Us. That one's great. And whatever the finale one is with Heather and Alejandra. The first and last songs are great. Everything in the middle is mid. The Chinese Stakeout song is really funny, though, because a bunch of people were crashing out about it. Semi-justified for them crashing out about it, though, because it was pretty wild. Oh, whoops, what did I just do? Oh, I put it in full screen. How do I exit full screen? It says to exit full screen, put it in escape, whatever. Y'all probably can't even tell what just happened. Okay, so Bridget and Jeff are horrible together. The relationship is toxic and brings both characters down. I don't think it's toxic. I think they grew as a couple during the Season 2 Aftermath episodes. And I think they're, honestly, the opposite of toxic. I think they're a little too together. Gen 2 was underrated. I personally rank like 8 of them in 8th tier or higher. Exceptions are Mike, Zoe, B, and Stacy, and I mixed on Cameron. I actually put Mike and Zoe really highly, even though Season 5 exists. And I like Cameron as well. But I will say, I think Anne Maria's a little overrated, but I do think there are a lot of greats in there. I think every single merger is pretty good. And also like Brick and Dawn. And Max's elimination is the single most unfair one in the entire series. Like, at least Lindsay, Lashana, Noah, etc. They pretend to give a reason. Max, on the other hand, was eliminated because Chris said so. Yeah, it was funny, though. He did the same thing to Ezekiel, but at least it wasn't in the final 5. Hello. That should be it. I hope these were actually some hot takes. Okay, so with this, yeah, it's not my least favorite because it was funny, and I really didn't care about Max, and he wouldn't have been funny without Scarlett. But that is, like, that should be illegal. If that happened in real life, I think that would genuinely, like, they'd get sued. That should be illegal. So thank you, Cat Fan, whatever, Thank you, Cat Fan. Geometry Dash Gamer, congratulations. You play one of the worst rage-inducing games of all time. There's one of my hot takes. Gwent is one of my least favorite ships in the entire series. They have little actual chemistry, and most of their screen time relies on contrived conflicts. Shady Eye Trent is a satellite character who has no meaningful interactions outside of Gwen, and Gwen is written very inconsistently when she's around Trent, and as far as superior in just about every other interaction she has. I think that if we take Season 2 out of the picture, they actually have a lot of chemistry, personally. If anything, action makes them more interesting. Oh, wow. And I think the execution wasn't that bad, at least after their breakup. First, the stupid Justin blackmail plot. Gwen 100% should have told Justin and the other groups to piss off, and she'd been allowed to actually have brain cells, she would have done exactly that. Then worse yet, everyone in the Aftermath treats Gwen like she ruined someone's life while victimizing Trent, which is so unnecessary too. I agree with that. They both had equal understandable perspectives and didn't do anything that bad. People just play the blame game for zero reason, which in real life is pretty realistic, to be honest. Not that this show needs to be realistic. The situation way out of proportion, yep, and favored Trent, all because he was a nice guy who plays guitar. What did I just say about Harold? Nice guys finish last. While completely disregarding Gwen's point of view, the whole post, Gwen's breakup plot is just insulting and an atrociously written all around. Well, I mean, nice guys do finish last. I said that earlier, and I know you're saying that they favored Trent. I think that both of them were equally wrong, but they both weren't that wrong. Yeah. I'm gonna say I don't really agree. Although, yeah, Trent is probably a satellite character. So, all right, let me speed up. How many more do I have? Okay, we're almost done. I'm gonna try to finish this in the next 6 minutes before I have to reset the recording again. Okay, so World Tour is overrated. Not that much overrated, but still, I just find it worse than Island, mainly due to the early mid pre-merge being slogged due to team victory. Legit. That entire team outside of Lindsay was a waste. Pre-merge World Tour is also damped by Noah and Tyler's eliminations. Love Triangle and Sierra. After that, the season rapidly picks up. People talk about World Tour like it's the second coming of Christ and has 0 falls. Okay, I think the second coming of Christ might be a little better than Total Drama World Tour, but I am going to disagree with a few of these things. So the pre-merge was not a waste in my opinion. I think it was really shown to show how big of a threat Alejandro was, and all of it was pretty good schemes. It didn't feel like off-screen bullcrap like Julia, or just downright plot armor like Heather, which is why I think from a gameplay standpoint, Alejandro is the best character in the series. But then Noah and Tyler's eliminations, I think were both not the greatest, but they weren't that bad. Love Triangle and Sierra. Sierra's a little much, but I think she's kind of funny in World Tour. I think she could have been eliminated a bit earlier. The Love Triangle, I like in World Tour. And, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and disagree there. Although I do think that Island, you can make an argument for it being better. Owen shouldn't have won Season 1. Season 1's finale should have been Lashana and Heather, or Duncan with Duncan or Lashana winning. And Action should have had Harold and Lindsay with Lindsay winning. I don't know. I actually don't know who I would pick if it was a Lindsay Harold finale. Genuinely, I have no clue because they're both such good options. But Owen shouldn't have won Season 1 from a gameplay standpoint. However, I do feel he's a good introductory winner. But Season 1's finale being Lashana and Heather and Duncan, I disagree with. I think it should have been either Lashana and Heather or Gwen and Heather. Although, then again, we would never get that goated episode, Triple Dog Dare You. So maybe like Lashana and Gwen, or Duncan and Gwen would be good. But I think Gwen definitely should have won Season 1. But I still consider Owen the canon winner. That's not how you spell that, but actually, I literally get this word wrong all the time, so I'm not going to shame you for that. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to end the video. I like Pahkitew Island a lot. I like its place. It feels less serious and more comedic after all. At least it was what it was supposed to be. The grand season that was All-Stars, well, trying to be grand. I feel people would like Pahkitew more if All-Stars was written better and appreciate the contrast more. I actually do agree with that. I think that since people hate All-Stars, they hate Pahkitew as well. If All-Stars was goated, then they would like Pahkitew for just being a chill vibe after. I don't want Gen 1 to return. I doubt the writers would have any better luck writing them than they did several years ago. And most of them have either completed their storylines or have nothing else to do. Plus, given how awful Reboot Season 2 was... Oh, here's one of my hot takes, because I doubt we're going to get there. Reboot Season 2 is my third favorite season of Total Drama, which you would think is weird because Lauren gets eliminated first, but I actually loved it. I'd say then it's Revenge, then it's Action, then it's All-Stars, then it's Pahkitew, then it's Redunculous Race, then All-Stars, then Pahkitew, even though I still love Pahkitew. It's Parent, TD writers will struggle giving characters more than one go-around. They used to be good at it. Similarly, I'm not too big on the idea of a reboot Season 3. I guarantee you I can change your mind if you go watch my video. Go to my videos, sorted by oldest. Watch the one where it's literally the oldest video outside of random shitpost. Watch that. I guarantee you'll change your mind. I guarantee you. Okay, now that we're done with the self-promotion, as I said earlier, a lot of them got worse in Season 2. I also personally don't like the reboot cast. I only like Bowie, MK Chase, Scary Girl, and Ripper. At least you like Scary Girl, but I like a lot more than that, personally. But that's fair. I can see why you would not like a lot of the others. All-Stars Heather is better written than Island Heather. At least All-Stars Heather had only one dumb moment. Island Heather had multiple. Yeah, but that made you love her more. I don't think so. Although I think that All-Stars Heather is one of the best parts of All-Stars. Beth deserved to win in Action. Okay. Oh my gosh. Again? I argue her arc is pretty similar to Lindsay's in a way that they're both underestimated in Pawns of Heather, but grew to be a more capable player. I give you prefer a Lindsay win, but Beth winning isn't that much worse. I like it more because I prefer her as a character. Also, All-Stars Final 2 is significantly worse than Actions, but I don't think that's too much of a hot take. Well, yeah, I don't think it's a hot take either, but I think my hot take is that I like All-Stars more than Actions. Definitely going to disagree with this. I partially disagree with this, but not as much. I guarantee you won't, that if the writers were able to lock in, they could make you like this. Yeah, I already said we don't need all of Gen 1 to return because they would definitely screw a few people up, and I agree with this. Owen shouldn't have won because all he did was fart and eat. Yep. Nope, sorry, I'm trying to like this. Oh, yes, okay, so this was when we were talking about, should I do a revenge? I said, screw it, yeah. I said, okay, you asked for this, just typed it out, them, and the comment deleted itself, so yeah, that's why we don't have his. Okay, I gotta reset the recording, damn it. Okay, let's finish this. There's like 4 hot takes left. Oh, we got some, oh my goodness, we got like the goats of the channel right here, coming up. Hold on, lock in. Lindsay shouldn't have been the first boot in All-Stars. Half of the cast wasn't even All-Stars. I think only Sierra was the one that really wasn't, I wouldn't consider an All-Star, and also, I'm trying to think. I think everyone else is at least fine to be. Oh, and Sam as well. I'm gonna say real quick. I'll reply to this one. I don't think this is a hot take. I think literally everyone agrees is a hot take. In my video, I know I keep bringing it up. I'm sorry, but in my video, I actually gave her a really good arc where she was trying to get revenge on Alejandro, Courtney, and Heather, and I think that's realistic for what could have happened, and it would have made her arc feel more complete. So I definitely agree, but I don't think this is a hot take. Also, I just skipped this one. I'm sorry. Oh, you're another go to the channel as well. Dang, we got like everyone in a row. We got Notkez, we got Onashi. I don't know how to say that still. We got Rayman, we got Coolo the Dude, we got Twinber down here, the OG. Okay, Total Drama Action is genuinely underhated, and ruins the original trilogy. The 14 contestants with 26 episodes wasn't a good idea to start off with. Left many episodes as filler ones that should make them horrendous for rewatching. And All Stars pre-merge was genuinely fun to watch. Okay, or number 2, take 2, I definitely agree with. Take 1, I disagree with. I don't think it ruins the original trilogy. I think the concept of 14 and 26 isn't the best, but it did. I think saying it's horrendous for rewatching, I actually disagree with. I think out of the big 3 seasons, even though Island World Tour are the best ones, if you just want to rewatch a few episodes here, a few episodes there, instead of rewatching a whole season, I think Action is your place to go, because it's a very chill vibe compared to the other 2, which are so drama filled. So I'm gonna disagree that it's terrible and ruins the original trilogy, but I do think it is the worst of the trilogy. So then we get to Cool of the Dude, who says Pocktail Island is way overhated. Trust me, I know it has flaws. I'm one of its biggest critics, but saying it's worse than All Stars and Reboot 2 is crazy. Dude, what is the Reboot 2 hate? Like, outside of Priya being a screen hog, and I get some people say Julia's one as well, it's not that bad. I love that season. I think there's a case for Revenge of the Island being better than it, actually. Actually, I'll say Revenge of the Island is better than Reboot Season 2. I'll say that. But it's not that bad. Overall, I think people take Pocktail too seriously. Yep. And if you enjoy the wacky personalities of Sean, Max, Sugar, Scarlett, and even Dave, I do with all those except Sugar. I'm starting to lose my voice. And even Dave, to an extent, the show becomes a lot more enjoyable. Also, I think people misunderstand the antagonist, as there isn't just one main antagonist, but a series of mini antagonists. Yep. And when I watch the show, with that in mind, I like the characters like Sugar more. I get why Pocktail is hated. It is a pretty big jump from the original 3 seasons, but I wish people judge Pocktail Island for what it is instead of what it isn't. I heavily agree. I'd say the only big problem with it that I actually dislike is the Amy and Sammy going nowhere, because that could have been great. But I heavily agree. Then we have Brennan Puncher. TDA kind of sucks. Okay, we're starting to get to the point where a lot of people are saying the same thing, so I'm going to try to speed through these. It feels really slow due to 26 episodes, 14 characters. Writing sucks because so many characters get derailed. I think the only person who really gets derailed, and I get people can argue Courtney, but I think the only person who really gets derailed, in my opinion, is Trent. And then you said the final 2 don't even know each other. I agree. Duncan winning makes no sense. I agree. I did like Lindsay Harold, the hosts, and the challenges, though. Hey, Lindsay, I guarantee you if the season played out the exact same and Lindsay and Harold won, 95% of people that say they hate it would love it. So I'm gonna, yeah, we don't really need to talk too much more about that. Lindsay and Harold should have been the finale of Action. Yep, Twinbird, I think this is, like, the dream finale. And Duncan is honestly overrated. Bro did not deserve to win Action because he was actually a dick and got way too much favoritism in Action and World Tour. Speaking of, he shouldn't have returned in World Tour. I'm assuming you mean, like, he shouldn't have after he quit, because I think he definitely should have returned, but not after he quit. Yeah, definitely going to agree with that one. But I'll just heart some random people's comments. Make them feel special. Okay, I have 10 hot takes. We're trying to end it, bro. Here, we'll end it with Alec. Alec. Okay, I don't care for the reboot at all. It feels targeted towards a younger audience than the original Total Drama was. And I didn't get attached to any of the characters while watching. I don't think I laughed the whole time. I was interested in the concept of Scary Girl, but they totally missed any opportunity of doing something cool with her. Won't be returning to either season ever again. All right, Sloth. Let me say this. I'm not calling this person a sloth. That's the name in the thing. I'll say that with Lauren, she's hilarious. Scary Girl. She's hilarious in my opinion, but I can see why people wouldn't like her. She's very interesting, and I think if there's a season 3, especially if they do what I did, she can easily become one of the greats to everyone, not just to me. Also, when it comes to I don't care about the reboot at all, it feels targeted towards a younger audience. I want to say 2 things to that. 1, it might be because you're older, but 2, the big reason is that was 2007. That was 2007. This is 2023 and 2024. You can't do anything edgy anymore. I mean, like, what's one of the lines? One of the lines in Action that I laughed out loud at was whenever Duncan said, seeing is great, but seeing Chef as a transgender troll is hilarious or priceless or whatever. They wouldn't be able to say that today, or we don't even need to go that far. I think like the edgiest thing that's even said in the reboot is, it's so cold you can hang ball caps from my nipples, which is funny. But I do think that times have changed for better or for worse, definitely for worse. And now people can't be like it just has to be less grungy. I don't really know how to explain it well, but I just think that they can't make it as I don't want to say like not like offensive because it's not offensive. It's not offensive, but I don't think they can really make it as kind of teen as it was. I don't think I'm doing a great job of explaining this, but you know what I mean, right? Yeah, everyone's softer. Everyone's softer, and I'm not even talking about bigger jokes like that where I can at least see where you're coming from. I'm just saying like for example, here's a good example. Okay, here's a good example. When Heather's breasts got exposed, obviously they were blurred. Like that, they would never do that for Julia. They would never do that. Or I mean, was there any nudity in blurred nudity in any of the reboot seasons? If there was, it maybe was for like 1 second. I guarantee you that they can't go that far anymore. But when it comes to it being for a younger audience, I can see that. But I think the other reason you think that is because they're not targeted at that generation of people. They're targeted at the new generation of people, which is younger. So I kind of see what you're saying, but I do think I disagree. And I still love both of the reboot seasons. So didn't get attached to any of the characters. That's just personal preference. And yeah, won't be returning to either season ever again. See, you say that, but I guarantee you if they make a season 3, you'll watch the other 2 seasons. DJ's the worst total drama character. Dang. And he is too whiny. Complains about everything from his mama too much and was robbed too many people in World Tour over a stupid curse he had. Like, bro, why did you even join the show if you just plan on whining the whole time? I agree that he isn't the greatest. He's very overrated. He should not have been in all 3 seasons when he didn't even get voted out normally once. The horror episode in Total Drama Island, quitting in Total Drama Action, and then that stupid curse in World Tour, and then never again. But I don't think he's the worst character. I don't think he's that bad. I just think he is he never goes on an arc and betters himself, despite making it pretty far in a few seasons. Actually, really only season 1. That's mainly only in World Tour. Not gonna lie, he's one of my favorites. Not trying to start. I'm assuming you mean beef, not beer, to be honest. But there are worser characters than him, like Stacy. Yeah. I kind of agree here. So then we get to if Jasmine wasn't in the cast, Gen 3 would be better than Gen 1. You know what? We're actually gonna go to Total Alec fan because we'll end with that. Okay, speed round. Courtney is the worst Gen 1 character. I hated her in all her seasons, even in Island. I never understood why people like her. I heavily disagree. I love Courtney. Hot take, even except for in All Stars. Leonard is a really good character and was fun in the first few episodes we got of him and actually showed tons of potential. I don't think he really showed that much potential, but he was pretty funny. My buddy Andy's favorite character is Leonard. Hot take. Oh my gosh, I can't talk anymore. Hot take number 3. Scary Girl is a really bad. Oh fuck. Scary Girl is a really bad character. She's just annoying, gimmicky, who is a complete ripoff of a way better character. Okay. Okay, you can't disrespect Lauren like that. Alright, bro. Look. I don't know who you're talking about she's a ripoff of. I genuinely have no idea who you're talking about. But I will say, I understand not liking her humor, but I don't think she's gimmicky. You want to talk about gimmicky, go to Pocateo Island. You can't compare Scary Girl, for example, to like an Ella. Ella's a gimmicky character. I like Ella, but still, she's a very gimmicky character. She's a one-hit wonder with no potential to go on an arc. And I can't really rank potential. For example, Dawn. I can't really rank potential, but Lauren does have that. Also, I just find her hilarious. She's the funniest character in the show for me. But she has one of the best designs in the show. She's, I just know. I heavily disagree. Wayne deserved his win more than anyone in that season. I don't care. If we're talking about gameplay, I think it's Julia, even though a lot of it was off screen. B is one of the most underrated characters, along with the Rockers. They need more love. All of them. You can't call Lauren a gimmicky character and then come to the Rockers and say they're underrated, and then B as well. I disagree. I mean they're fine, but I disagree. I'll take number 6. Frickin' Joe is the best non-canon ship. I'm trying to think of non-canon ships that I want to be canon. Honestly, this might be my bias for Lauren showing through, and because she's fresh on my mind now, but probably Lauren and Damien is what I'm gonna say. By the way, anytime I've said this before in this video, but I'm just saying it again. Anytime I say Lauren, I'm talking about Scary Girl. She's a huge part of Total Drama Multiverse right now. She's the host of the show. She's Chris McLean's daughter now. So I'm so used to not calling her that because that was part of her arc, is that she didn't want to be Scary Girl anymore. So I haven't called her that in freaking 5 months. But anyways, I would probably say that. But Brick X Joe is definitely a good one. Hot take number 7, Zoe and Mike is one of the worst couples in total drama history, and they get even worse in All Stars. They were great in Revenge of the Island, in my opinion. And then in All Stars, they weren't the best, but I don't think they're one of the worst. Hot take number 8, Scott is horrible in Revenge and was one of the worst characters in that season, but in All Stars, he was the best character in that season. He went from D to A. In All Stars, he was pretty funny, but he wasn't anything crazy. In Revenge, I thought he was great. I wouldn't put him on the same level as like a Heather or a Alejandro, but I thought he was really good. So hot take number 9, Father and Son is one of the best duos in Redonkulous Race and should have lasted a bit longer. I 100% agree with that. I love Father Son. That was a really good one, and I wish that we got to explore them more with Father Daughter. Mother Daughter. And then finally, hot take number 10, Anne Maria is one of the worst characters in the entire show. She's bottom 10 in my rankings. I don't think she's one of the worst, but excuse me. But I think that she is one of the most overrated characters, at least in Gen 2 and Gen 3. So then we come on to Noah is overrated. I honestly think he overstayed his welcome in World Tour, and in RR he's fine. I don't think he overstayed his welcome. I think he was there for pretty good. It was a really good moment for Alejandro. So I'm going to go ahead and disagree with that. But then I will say he might be a little overrated. Then we get to Live with Fire. All right, let's start with the first half. If Jasmine wasn't in the cast, Jasmine is one of the best parts of Pacquiao. I'm saying that right now. Jasmine is great. She's a good character. I would love to see her back. She's a great support character to people like Sammy, while also being in a great ship with Sean, and overall is just a great character. I don't know how Jasmine. I really wish I could ask you this in person, or you could respond under the comments of this video if you see this. Why you hate Jasmine? I truly want to know why you hate Jasmine, because I have no clue why anyone would hate Jasmine. But then Gen 3 would be better than Gen 1 if she wasn't there. Huh? What? Gen 3. Pacquiao Island only, except for Leonard and Redonkulous Race, would be better than in the cast of Island, Action, World Tour, and half of All Stars, and 3 of the people in Redonkulous Race. Huh? What? What? I don't even know what to say. What? Okay, Live with Fire. Please give a deeper explanation in the comments below. I'll pin your comment to the top. I'll do whatever. I need to know how you've come to this conclusion. Like, seriously. This is easily the hottest take here. I think so. This is wild. This is crazy. I don't even know what to say. Okay, well, that's gonna do it. Is there any other hot takes that I personally want to mention before I go? I mean, I've already said throughout the video, Ezekiel and Lauren are the best. I've talked about my rankings. I think we're good. I think I've said everything I need to say. And I'm really glad that all y'all were able to come in and join this hot takes video. Now, I know a few people were asking that didn't see the thing in time, but the Disventure Camp hot takes video in time. They were asking if I would ever do another hot takes video. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to do some other community events first, but I might do a mega one where I want your Total Drama / Disventure Camp takes. That way we can have some people that are going with both shows, combining shows. This show's better than that show. These characters from this show are better than this show. So, or it can just be with one of the shows or the other show. So I am going to do that eventually. But first, I really want to do Disventure Camp 5 predictions. And I have a few other characters. Blah, 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 blah. Oh my gosh. A couple of other ideas as well. But alright. So, that's going to do it for this one. I really, really hope y'all enjoyed, and I cannot wait to catch y'all on Tuesday for the next community event. See ya!